What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cole Mize with ColeMizeStudios.com, bringing you another segment of 5 minutes to a better rap flow. And today I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. I'm going to show you some behind the scenes of something that can help you dissect cadences. When you're trying to wrap your head around a cadence, it can be a little tricky if you're just playing the song from your phone. You're constantly fast forwarding and rewinding, and it's just not a very efficient workflow. So I'm gonna share with you something today that can help you have a more efficient workflow, which will also make it much easier to actually wrap your head around these cadences. So what I recommend doing, again, when you're trying to understand a cadence, is focus on a small section of a song, maybe 4 bars. And then you need to be able to play that 4-bar section over and over and over again on what we call a loop, where it just repeats over and over and over again. It doesn't go past that part. And that way you can focus on it and you don't have to be distracted by going back and forth all the time. So the key to doing this is first detecting the tempo of the song that you're wanting to study. Now, I already have a video on detecting tempo, so if you haven't already, make sure you check that out, because I go over multiple ways that you can detect tempo on any given song. Okay, so within most DAWs or most software, they have built in what they call tempo detection or beat detection. So as you're looking at me right now, I'm in FL Studio. I'm just going to go ahead and detect the tempo of this track. This is actually a song I just mixed for a student of mine. And check this out. So I can just literally just go here in FL Studio and click detect tempo. I select 50 between 100. Usually that's where most tempos fall in normal time. So I'm just going to click that. And it's detected it at 95 beats per minute. So I'm going to hit yes. And boom, it snapped it to the grid at 95 beats per minute. Now, let's say you don't have FL Studio. You're using some type of other means to detect tempo. As I go over in my video detecting tempo, whatever means that you use to detect the tempo is fine. But the key is whatever piece of software that you're using, you have to load, or you have to set the tempo in that project should be the first thing that you do. So that way everything will snap to what is called the grid properly. Now, let's say you don't have FL Studio. This is actually a piece of software I'm showing you right here. I use all the time with my students via my one-on-one coaching. I actually do remote recording with my students and help them with like delivery and stuff like that, and work on full songs right out of this software right here. This is free. It's actually called Ohm Studio, OHMSTUDIO. It's free. And what's really cool about it is you can also collaborate with other people. So you can set up a project in here, and if you was wanting to, let's say, get a friend on it, you could simply share it with him and he could jump into this project with you and record his vocals. And it's all via the internet. It's really dope. It's very powerful. I love this program for what it is. And you can't beat free 99, right? It's free. So anyways, so in FL Studio, I already detected the tempo at 95 beats per minute, right? So the first thing I need to do here is type in up there on the tempo. Most DAWs set it automatically to 120. I'm gonna go ahead and put 95 right there. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is still not lined up on the grid. You see there's empty space right here. So what I'm gonna do is just drag over and boom. It's set. Now, I can already tell by looking at it that this is already lined up to the grid perfectly. And the reason I can tell is because of these things called transients. You see these spikes, right? Let me zoom out a little bit more so you can see it with everything else. See these big old spikes? These are typically your kicks and your snare drums, which are typically falling on all the beats, really. Kicks typically fall on first and third beats. Snares typically fall on the second and fourth beat, right? So these are what we call our transients, these spikes. Okay, and these should be lining up on the beat. All right, let me zoom in a little bit further. And if you look up here, at the top right here, most DAWs are set up this way, or digital audio workstations, they're set up this way. And they have this thing called the grid, and the grid is showing you like what bar number you're on, and if you zoom in far enough, sometimes it'll show you what beat you're on. So right here, you can actually see it saying, okay, I'm on bar 5, and this is beat 1, and this is beat 2. You see the 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, and then it goes into bar 6 right here, and so on and so forth. So I can already tell this is looping perfectly because I can see that transient is lining up right on there perfectly. Let me just loop this and you can hear it for yourself. Let's see here. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Get a closer zoom. So this is looping one bar. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit further so you can see it again. Check this out.
Wake up from a hunger, didn't eat before I slumbered. Wake up from a hunger, didn't eat before I slumbered. Wake up from a hunger, didn't eat before I slumbered.
So it's looping perfectly. Now, it's not always that easy when you load up a instrumental or a song if you're studying someone's cadence, because sometimes there'll be a pause at the beginning right here. So let's just imagine I just messed myself up intentionally. I just like took some of the wave off, and this is what you'll have to do right here. So let me make a nasty cut. I don't want it to be even. There we go. Now this is no longer even right here. Check this out. If I were to loop a section, let's loop that same section again. Check this out. Now listen to it.
Before I slumbered, frail dreams didn't flock on before I slumbered. Frail dreams didn't flock on before I slumbered. Frail dreams didn't flock on before I slumbered. Frail dreams.
So it's not looping properly right here. Actually, let me show you another section of the song right here. Let's get to where there's some snares.
Over bottom of the ladder, hit this.
Here we go. So check this out. I'm just gonna loop 4 beats, also known as a bar. Just gonna loop that. Let's see how this sounds.
Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder.
All right, so it's not looping perfectly. That's the issue. All right, in order to fix that, all you need to do is just zoom in. First of all, you have to detect the tempo, right? And then after that, pay attention to the grid markers in your DAW, your digital audio workstation. You want to make sure your transient is lining up at the beginning of the bars. It should be lining up on beat. So I can tell you right here that it's not. See this spike right here? It should be over here on the 8, right here at the beginning, and it's not. I'm just gonna move this slightly over here. Okay, and what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna drag it over a little bit to the left, just like so. About right there, it should be good. Now let me try looping it again, playing the loop again, and let's see, it should be playing a perfect loop.
Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom of the ladder, hit the sound. Quite over bottom.
And this is really helpful for a lot of different reasons, not just when you're studying cadences. This can also help you extend a section of the song. So for an example, let's say this hook section right here, which is what I'm playing. I could actually extend this if I wanted to. Or let's say, you know, in the case of an instrumental, if you need to extend the verse and make it a little bit longer, you could do it using this technique. I'm just gonna move this over here.
Over bottom of the ladder, hit the.
I'm just gonna drag this over right here to the beginning of the verse section.
Bottom of the ladder, hit the sound and the clatter. Bottom of the ladder.
Let's say I want to loop that right there. I could literally just make an even cut right there at the beginning of the bar. So this is bar 8. I'm going all the way to right here on bar 9. I'm making a cut on bar 9 right there. And now I can zoom back out and remove, and I can literally copy this and just drag it over like that. Try this again. There we go. I can just drag it, and now let me play this whole loop section.
Hit the sound and the clatter.
Play it from the beginning.
Bottom of the ladder, hit the sound and the clatter. Bottom of the ladder, hit the sound and the clatter. Bottom of the ladder, hit the sound and the clatter. Bottom of the ladder, hit the sound and the clatter.
So it's looping that one section. So again, this doesn't only apply to like studying cadences. It can also help you if you're working on a song and let's say maybe you need to like extend a verse that isn't quite long enough. Or this also applies to like copying and pasting hooks. And even if you don't have a computer, you should still be able to use this technique in some of the software that you can download from your store, like well, I guess it's the Apple Store or Google Play. Just search for what is known as a multi-track recorder, and what that's going to allow you to do is load up multiple tracks and within one project, and you should be able to loop within those. And you can use this same technique I'm showing you here. First starts with detecting tempo, then you have to line up the transients to the grid properly. And if you do that, it's going to make it much easier for you when you're wanting to study other people's cadences, or when you're just working on a song and you want to focus on one particular section. And so that way you can wrap your head around the song when you study in people's cadences. And what you want to mainly listen for is, where do they begin rapping at on the part you're studying? Are they coming in on the first beat? Are they leading into the first beat? Are they pausing on the first beat, leading into the second beat? Doing this will help you so much more with wrapping your head around that and making sense of it. This is exactly what I do all the time when I'm studying cadences. This is it. This is exactly what I do. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If this was, and if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon, because I'm dropping a new video every single day for the rest of this month and you don't want to miss it. And make sure you get yourself a copy of my free ebook, The #1 Fundamental to Rapping, which I think you will find very helpful. Again, this is Cole Mize with ColeMizeStudios.com, and I'll see you tomorrow. Y'all take care. We'll holler at you. Peace.